Welcome back to another video on the MLD page. In today's video, we're going to be talking about what's next for the Philadelphia 76ers. As we are currently speaking, they the third seed in the Eastern Conference. They've been looking great. They've been having games where they don't even play their star player Joel Embiid for the fourth quarter just because how much they are dominating other teams. And guy I want to talk about to begin this video is Tyrese Maxey. He has taken a legit stardom leap. He's this year's clear-cut MIP. He's been averaging 26 on 46, 40, and 88 while taking 8 3-pointers a game. He's averaging 46 from the field, 40 from the 3, 88 from the free throw line while shooting 8 threes a game. I had to repeat that because, man, Tyrese Maxey's been super efficient while averaging 26, and he has just this great energy when he plays. He has taken full advantage of the opportunity he has been given as the lead guard for the 76ers after the James Harden departure. He has also gotten better as a playmaker. He's been averaging 7 assists with only a turnover and a half, which is a 4.5 assist to turnover ratio. That's really good for Tyrese Maxey. That's really good for a guard in the league. Maxey has changed the entire trajectory of the 76ers future. Going into this season with all the Harden stuff, I was kind of scared for the Philadelphia 76ers future. I was looking into that Joel Embiid to the New York Knicks stuff a little bit, but now with how Tyrese Maxey has been balling, they have a legit cornerstone to build around with Joel Embiid to make a championship contender. Like, Tyrese Maxey is legit star player, and we're going to talk about legit stars. We got Joel Embiid. He has been the most dominant scorer and arguably the best player in the league so far this regular season. This is the 5th year in a row maybe where Joel Embiid is going to finish as a top 3 for the MVP race. Joel Embiid's just been on an absolute blur the past half decade in the regular season. And he has such a lethal mid-range jumper, man. Joel Embiid is one of the better shooters in the league. And when I say shooters, I mean shooters, not three-point shooters. When you're just talking about shooters, Joel Embiid with that mid-range game, he is amazing. And Joel Embiid, man, he even has a case for the DPOY race. I wouldn't have him winning personally right now, but he's up there in the race, man. He's averaging 2 blocks, a steal. He's anchoring the 6th best defense in the league. He's also even taking the leap just like Tyrese Maxey in the playmaking aspect of the game. With Harden leaving, there are just more opportunities for playmaking to be provided on the 76ers, and Joel Embiid's been doing great with being the hub of the offense with the dribble handoffs. He's averaging 6 assists a game now. He's averaging quite a few turnovers, but Joel Embiid is a volume scorer. He's going to get turnovers not only from being a playmaker, but there's going to be times where he just turns the ball over. Joel Embiid is not a point guard. Him averaging 6 assists, it's like 3.5 turnovers. It's pretty good for his position. And with their newly hired coach with Nick Nurse, he's been balling, man. Nick Nurse seems like a great fit for the 76ers as he's one of the better coaches in the league, in my opinion. He has an aggressive defensive scheme that has helped the 76ers improve a lot on that side of the ball, with how much he's willing to change what type of coverages they use. Whether it's a zone, whether it's a man, he even does a boxing one sometimes with Embiid covering the paint. He's really good with the X's and O's, and that's exactly what the Philadelphia 76ers needed, with their prior coaches being a player coach. Doc Rivers, he doesn't know. I don't want to say that he doesn't know, but he just, when you're watching games, he's not that much into the X's and the O's as someone like a Nick Nurse. I think the accusation of Nick Nurse is really going to help him out come playoff time, as he is going to put his players in the best positions that they need to be in. Or if not the best, he's going to put them in a better positions than they just were in last year. There's times where Doc Rivers' rotations would be bad. What they're just doing look bad. With Nick Nurse, it's a totally different thing, man. And that was a great accusation by the 76ers. And if we're going to talk about a guy making accusations, we got to talk about Daryl Morey. He's been one of the more fun general managers to watch in the recent history. He's probably been the most fun to watch. Also been one of the best with his ability to be so patient with acquiring star players and understanding the value of NBA players. It can be a random player who won't even be named in this video that he can just somehow surprisingly get someone, and I wouldn't be surprised. And I expect him to be very aggressive at this trade deadline, acquiring a third star for the 76ers. But my question is, who will that player be to help the 76ers make a run to win the finals with their generational big man playing at the peak of his powers? I think as we're currently speaking, the biggest needs for the Philadelphia 76ers is playmaking and shot creation. Yeah, I was talking about how much Maxey and Embiid have improved in that departure of the game, but I feel like it's also due to opportunities. I would like if Joel Embiid didn't have to play make as much as he does, but I like the fact that he can. Now let's get into the first player who I think is someone the 76ers could possibly acquire. I think this guy is very likely. The likeliness of this happening is just up to the 76ers. They could get this done if they want to. And DeMar DeRozan, he's a star player on an expiring contract who will fit perfectly at the shooting guard position as a secondary or tertiary playmaker who will be asked to prove himself in the playoffs the same way they were asking James Harden. And if he doesn't, the 76ers could let him go in free agency and be aggressive to find a new player that's a better fit. DeMar DeRozan, he brings size at the 2. He's be a 6'7" shooting guard, which will allow him to be better on defense than he is right now currently with the Bulls as a power forward. I do think DeMar is a weak defender. He's not a good shooter, but you have shooting on that team already. You will surround him with shooting. And the 76ers, they play Tyrese Maxey for the entire second and fourth quarters, and they play Joel Embiid for the entire third quarters. You could find a way to just play DeMar for the whole second quarters with Tyrese Maxey. I don't think he is some guy that makes them into championship contenders. I don't think so, but I can't be that naive and think I know everything. DeMar DeRozan, if he has a good playoff run, which he's been incapable of doing so, but so has someone else on his team. So we gotta give players, at least a chance. And DeMar DeRozan, he'll be pretty cheap, man. I think he'll be worth like a first round pick that will obviously not convey, and a couple seconds, like give you a first round pick that will obviously not convey. In like 5 seconds, you can get DeMar. You just gotta fit the salary. I think that this is the lowest DeMar's value will ever be, and for how cheap he is, it's just worth a shot to at least try to pair Joel Embiid with someone with, especially how good he's been playing, man. I feel like you're not going to get too many years where Joel Embiid is averaging 35 a game, averaging 12 rebounds, a defensive player of the year candidate. And I didn't even mention this. I think if we were to do a top 20 most improved players ladder, Joel Embiid will be on that. Joel Embiid won MVP last year, and I think he's improving as a player. The next player is Pascal Siakam, who is also in an expiring contract, whose fit could be questionable, and if the Raptors feel like they won't be able to attain him, selling him at his lowest instead of losing him for nothing like they did with Fred VanVleet may be their alternative. Another guy who, if he doesn't fit, he's a free agent, and you're gonna get him at his lowest, so it's easier to move on from him. But I do like the idea of a Cameroon front court, and this guy is a top 30 player in the NBA. The 76ers can make themselves serious contenders if they could find a way to get Siakam and find a way to gel him together with Joel Embiid. Pascal Siakam can be capable of playing alongside Joel Embiid, and that defense would be so good, but the team would need to predicate the rest of the roster around shooters, primarily because the spacing on the court with Siakam and Embiid could be questionable at times if the 3 other players aren't shooters. I'll say that, but I mean, this guy's a top 30 player. This is someone that you should cater to. Siakam would also be able to shine in the minutes that Joel Embiid is on the bench. Him and Nick Nurse come from Toronto, so they already had that chemistry down a bit, so Siakam would understand his schemes, and he'd be able to be the hub of the offense around the times where Joel Embiid isn't being the hub. They could run similar sets, and Siakam's minutes at center won't hurt the 76ers that bad. They have Paul Reed sometimes playing center when Joel Embiid isn't playing, so I feel like that just, oh my goodness, Siakam, the more I talk about it, the more I like it. Siakam would be able to play with Joel Embiid pretty fine too, in my opinion. He's very aggressive. Not the greatest shooter, of course, but Joel Embiid, like I said, he's one of the most lethal shooters in the NBA, man, especially from the mid-range. I understand that I wouldn't want Joel Embiid shooting threes that much, and I don't think he'd have to that much with Siakam. Siakam does clog the paint a bit, but who cares? These guys are both top 30 NBA players. They're going to figure a way to work out. I think that Pascal Siakam rises the ceiling and the floor more than DeMar DeRozan, and this is exactly what they need. They need playmaking. Siakam, he doesn't bring that to the extent of DeMar DeRozan, but he also brings shot creation, and something that he also adds is defense. Now, the next player on my list, if you're not looking at the screen, the next player on my list, man, look. As wild as it may be, I will always view Kevin Durant as someone who is a part of the trade market at this stage of his career. Kevin Durant is still a top 10 NBA player, and he seems like he is very interested in winning a ring without the Golden State Warriors. You gotta remember, Kevin Durant, he left the Golden State Warriors because he wanted to go win a ring without them. He wanted to show that he could do it without them. That Nets team last year when Kevin Durant left, I was absolutely shocked because they actually were good, but they were hurt, they were struggling, and if you look at the Phoenix Suns situation, we are in December and the Phoenix Suns big three have been struggling to play on the court with each other. Just like in Brooklyn, Kevin Durant's been playing most of the games and he's been carrying just like in Brooklyn. Yes, it's unlikely that he gets moved, but how unlikely? Man, like Kevin Durant, he's a flip of the coin, man, and if he goes somewhere, I think it's gonna be to the Philadelphia 76ers, man. Gotta remember, he's having the same problems he was having in Brooklyn. And the difference between Brooklyn and Phoenix is he signed at one of those places. He got traded to Phoenix. Kevin Durant has no loyalty to the Phoenix Suns. And on the 76ers, he would instantly impact their defense as a help defender. He's, oh my goodness, like on that side of the defense, I think he is underrated. And we don't even got to talk about offense with KD, do we? Because like I said earlier, the 76ers have a guy who sometimes he doesn't do the best in the playoffs. And if we look at KD the past couple years, he hasn't either. But I think that fit of KD and Embiid, oh my goodness, man, they would fit on offense immaculately. KD could fit on any offense, really. Tyrese Maxey, KD, and Embiid. Is that the favorites in the East, man? Oh man, I don't know, man. Hey, me personally, as a Heat fan, keep that shit away from me. But it's very possible, man. If you being objective and look at Kevin Durant as a basketball player, anything's possible. The next player is Jeremy Grant. He is a lock and play perfect fit for the 76ers. And if they are willing to care more about fit than star power, which isn't something that we've seen from Morey, but if he does it, then this would be an amazing wing they can get to impact the team's floor in the playoffs with his versatility on the defensive end and being able to space the court on 40% shooting from the three. He takes around 6 attempts the past 2 seasons. Very versatile defender. He wouldn't be as much as a guy like Kevin Durant either, but I think Jeremy Grant is worth more than DeMar DeRozan, but he also is a better fit than a DeMar DeRozan and less riskier. You get Jeremy Grant, you know what you're going to get. You're going to ask him to do less than he is at his current place in Portland, but I think Jeremy Grant is going to be fine with that. He got the contract he was looking for. And maybe he could just go back to relegating himself as the 4th or 3rd option on the team and play amazing defense. Dedicate that side of the ball more as a big wing. Jeremy Grant would be a perfect fit for this team. And the last guy we're going to talk about, who please don't do it, Philadelphia, is Zach LaVine. Like, I personally, this is the guy who I think they should stay away from. But, you know, you got to talk about it because Zach LaVine is obviously on the trade market. He has a 4-year contract where he's going to be averaging $44 million until the age of 31, which could be very risky. I just don't like this move. Don't like the fit. Don't like the contract. he doesn't benefit this team that much because he's just a dynamic scorer. Like, yeah, he's a shot creator. They do need shot creation, but I feel like he just give you very similar things to Tyrese Maxey. And I just want someone who complements the team more. But if they do it, as a Heat fan, I'll be happy. But Zach LaVine, he would improve this team because we haven't seen him in the positions that much to show us who he is as a playoff performer. Zach LaVine just hasn't had the chances, and in his one time where he was in the playoffs against the Bucks, that was a very bad performance. But it's only one series. He could show up and just show out. But I personally wouldn't like to move to the 76ers for Zach LaVine. And let's say that the 76ers don't get any of these guys who I just mentioned. They would still in 2024 be someone to watch. They're going to be the biggest players in 2024 free agency, or one of the biggest players. Joel Embiid is the only player who is currently rostered beyond this season. It's him and Paul Reed. Paul Reed's making $8 million a year, so it's cool. Like they could find ways. The 76ers are going to have 2 max salary slots. I think Tyrese Maxey, you got to give him one of them. But with the other one, they have a way, man. Man. They have a way, and with Daryl Morey, anything is possible for this team. Who do y'all think should be the star that the Philadelphia 76ers trade for? Or do you think they don't even need a star? Do you think they should just keep it rolling and just get a role player that I haven't named, or a star player who I didn't name? If you could please leave a comment down below on who you think that the 76ers should trade for. If you think one of these guys will be one of the people that they trade for, hey, leave a like, man. You feel me? Hey, I know ball. Leave a like if you think I got some, you know? But yeah, that'll be it for this video. If you're into my content, you like what I just talked about, be appreciated if you press the link above and watch what's next for Donovan Mitchell and the Cleveland Cavaliers. But yeah, I'll be out. Shout out Up the Score Show. Have a nice day.